Hello everybody, welcome again. I hope you've all been good. I hope life has treated you well, and if it hasn't, well, better days ahead, we pray. So yes, today we're going to be talking about a Marvel show called Miss Marvel. So let's get into it. So Miss Marvel is about this young lady, this outsider, outcast, reject, that just felt out of place in this world, like nobody understood, nobody even cared. And all of a sudden one day she develops powers that makes her feel more than she ever thought she would ever be able to feel, to do more than she could ever do before. She discovers things about herself and her family, and she feels like she can fit in now finally, and she does marvelous and wonderful things that no one ever expected. So like a lot of superheroes, she also has like the Robin to her Batman, not necessarily because he doesn't have superpowers. He's more like the Wade to her Kim Possible. Yes. So yeah, this is her best friend, her confidant, the only person that actually ever understands fully. And you know, she shows him what she can do, and both of them explore her powers in like totality. So like the powers to give her like a lot of benefits, not just as per like physical benefits, but it impacts her life in general. It also helps her with her relationship with her mom, and it really delves into not just the superhero part, but so many other things, like I said, about her past. And that was one thing that I really enjoyed about the show, the fact that it delved into other things. It for me was majorly a story about this young girl coming of age and discovering who she was. I like that aspect of it, especially the story behind the bracelet and actually where it came from and what it meant to her, what it meant to her great grandmother, what it would mean to who her great grandmother is, who she is, who herself is. Another aspect of the show I liked also was the family dynamic between her and her parents, especially with her mother. How realistic it was, the fact that really a lot of teenagers, a lot of us as children to our parents, we just there's this time where there's like an abrasion, this friction between us and them, because they don't really understand us. They don't really understand that like them being protective is actually almost a hindrance to us discovering more about ourselves. And unfortunately she had to do some things that were, you know, against her family rules. But I think breaking through that and showing them like that she could be more than what they expect of her, I really liked how they delved into that. I also liked, you know, her relationship with her dad, you know, like a solace, that kind of person you can depend on, and you know, the one person that, you know, if everybody else is against you, like, you know, this person will stand up for, even though they don't understand. I really liked that. I love the realisticness of that. I think it was really beautifully shown in the show. I also think the actors did an incredible job as well, especially the main actress, you know, having to portray like a young girl, like a teenager like that, the vulnerability, you know, the quippiness, and even the action as well, because she also had some action scenes. I know a lot of them are like stunt doubles and CGI, but even the parts where she had to be physically involved, I think she did an amazing job. That's one of the things that actually drives me like in action movies. That's one of the things I love about the genre. Like, that's why action genre is one of my favorite. The physicality of it, the fact that people push themselves beyond what they thought was like their physical limits, seeing how they train and getting like to get to where, you know, we see on TV screens, I think is amazing. I think she did it very well. Other actors too were also very good. The other side characters that she had to fight against or fight like beside, I think everyone did an amazing job. The emotion that they portrayed, it was very engaging. The story itself and the way they portrayed it, it was intriguing. It made me actually like be present and focused, like in the moment that they were in, like following them, almost like I was in the show itself. Like when that was happening, I really loved it. It was nice. It was a good touch. The movie was, yeah. So in as much as I've praised the show, and I really do think that they did like an amazing job with what they were supposed to do. I think there was no better actor to portray the character. I think everyone nailed it and killed it in their own aspect. I would say in general, the story is quite, I wouldn't say mediocre or mundane, but it's almost like been there, done that. You know, there was nothing particularly, how will I say it? I mean, to say there's nothing particularly special would not be correct, because it is a very unique tale. It's about a Pakistani American with a past, like with a family history like no other, like other character in Marvel that has been portrayed, you know. But then the whole thing about the coming of age, with great power comes great responsibility and all that, you know, it's almost like just a recycling of what we've always known. So it was interesting in and of itself. I can't take it away from that. I can't take that away from it. But there was really nothing that stood out to me. There was nothing that compelled me. The storyline again was beautiful. Every time, especially when they were delving into her great grandmother's past, every time they were doing that, oh my goodness, I was hooked. But then outside that, everything else felt more of the same, and I didn't really like that. You know, it kind of took away like a lot of the intrigue for me, because by the time I was done with it, days, weeks after, it just felt like, okay, would you want to go back and watch this? And man, I'm like, nah, I'm good. You know. So a lot of the major reason why I started this thing, why I wanted to be reviewing Marvel shows, because they were giving me something that I hadn't seen before, and now it's almost like 4 phases into what they've been doing for decades. Like they're just recycling the same thing over and over again, and it disappointed me a little bit, especially because I didn't really know much about the character in the first place. So yeah, generally it was okay, and if I were to rate it, I would say it was unremarkable. Yeah, being that it was a good show, but nothing really stood out for me. Yeah, I would recommend people to watch it. I think it's interesting. If you're a Marvel fan, if you're an MCU fan, definitely you should watch it. It progresses a lot of the MCU genre. It brings things that MCU doesn't have and hasn't had prior to this moment. You know, it shows forth, you know, how do I say it? It's not like a prophecy, but like that thing that movies do when they're going to show something that is going to happen later in another movie. You know what I'm talking about. For some reason my brain cannot remember the word, but yes, especially the Marvels. I think the movie is called The Marvels, coming out later in 2023. So yes, it shows that, you know, sets it up. Oh my goodness, that's the word. So it sets things up, especially in the Marvels category. But in general, there wasn't really anything that really stood out to me. Yeah, it was just okay. So that's it for me and Miss Marvel. Thank you so much for watching. I encourage you to go and watch it. I think if you're the kind of person that I am, I've always loved teenage movies, youth, young adults, coming of age stuff. And I think if you're like that, just a breath of fresh air, just, you know, looking at youth, I think you would enjoy it. And yeah, you should go check it out. Please like, please share, please comment, please subscribe. Please. Thank you so much. And as always, I wish each and every one of you wellness in every single area of your lives. Thanks. Bye-bye.